Hello, and welcome to the Success Showcase. I'm your host, Eric Lopkin from the Modern Observer Group, and with me, as always, is Chip Janiszewski from the Happiness and Success GPS. Chip, how you doing this week?
Doing great. How about you, Eric?
Doing fantastic. Of course,
Yeah.
we are coming off of Father's Day weekend. Uh,
Yep.
did you do anything special?
Yeah, well, both of my sons checked in, my grandkids checked in, and as I just told you, my grandson will be 14 months old this week, and he decided to start walking on Saturday. So that was pretty much fun, even though he looked like he's been ready for a long time. As soon as he took off, looked like he'd been doing it forever. So, but no, it's a great time of year, and all you fathers and grandpas and fathers to be out there. I hope you had a wonderful day yesterday too.
Absolutely. I spent some quality time with my son, which is always fun. And of course, aside from Father's Day, we've got the beginning of summer right around the corner, the official beginning of summer. I know a lot of people consider Memorial Day the beginning, but we are coming up on June 21st, which is the official kickoff. And today we're going to talk about different things you can do to improve yourself during the summer.
Yeah,
And there are some differences. People tend to get outside a lot more in the summer. There's a lot more time off. And there's certain things you need to do differently during the summer than you would at different times of year.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, if you're going to be out a lot, make sure you have the sunscreen on and that kind of thing. But also, I mean, if you have the type of job and so on or career where you can spend more time doing what you're doing there, uh, maybe spend some office time outside on your deck and so on and so forth, and change the scenery a little bit. It's a great time of year to just enjoy what's out there. And up here in the Northeast, it lasts for 3 months or so, or a little bit more, but it's just a wonderful time to do that. So great time of year to recharge and to enjoy.
It is, and being outside is key. But there's some things you need to look out for while you're spending time outside. And of course, we're all familiar with checking the temperature, checking the humidity level, make sure it's not too much for us. But of course, over the last several weeks, most of the country got used to checking a metric that a lot of them didn't even know existed prior to this, and that's the air quality index. And yes, during the summer, the air quality tends to fall because of humidity, because of the heat. So you should be checking that air quality index before you do anything active outside.
Yeah, absolutely. And up here 2 weeks ago, I mean, my birthday was a couple of weeks ago, Wednesday, and we were smoked out. Basically, we had wildfires going on up in Quebec and Ontario and Canada. And that middle of the week, I've never seen it so surreal as I did that week a couple of weeks ago, because basically there weren't clouds in the sky, but the sky was still gray. The sun was very, very orangey, reddish, like out of a sci-fi movie, and the air quality was horrible, especially down in New York City. I think it was the worst air quality in the whole world back then, just because of the way the wind was blowing. And we had like 3 or 4 days that week where you had to stay inside. There were sporting events canceled, postponed, and so on. And fortunately, things are a whole lot better now, and it's like back to normal. But obviously, you have to look out for things these days, and with the way that you can find out the weather and everything else going on in a snap, it's not hard to look up what the air quality is out there. But it is very, very important, especially if you have respiratory conditions or heart conditions and so on and so forth. So can't overdo when it's like that.
Absolutely. And it is very easy to check the air quality index. Most weather apps now include it in the app. So you've got, the Apple's weather app, Google's weather app, the Weather Channel, AccuWeather. They've all got the air quality index in them. So it's easy to check. And you want to make sure it's not too high because the high, seems a little confusing, but the higher the air quality index is, the worse the quality is. So you want it to be a low number, preferably in the single digits.
Yeah, and obviously, if you just go outside and poke your head out, a lot of times you can sense this, but you still have to be very,
Yeah.
very careful. So, but this is, it's a great time of year. We talk a lot about personal development. We talk a lot about professional development, and this time of the year is a really, really good time for both of them, especially when you have a little bit more time. You can think about things like getting yourself reorganized, like cleaning your home or cleaning your office, doing some planning and so on and so forth. I mean, if you want to take a week off yourself and just write up in your to-do list a list of things that you've been meaning to do for a long, long time and just check them off one by one during the week, that's one thing to do, is to just shut everything off and get yourself refocused both at home and for your business.
Yes, and you mentioned cleaning, and that's actually something during the summer you should be doing more often. Again, people don't necessarily think about that, but the increased heat and humidity also tends to create increased mold. It also, in many places around the country, invites all sorts of bugs and insects into the house. So you actually should be cleaning more often during the summer than you do during the winter.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really important. And it's again just the atmosphere around you as far as your work atmosphere and outdoors. Having a clean atmosphere instead of a cluttered one does a world of good for your mind also. It's also a really great time of year, seeing as things are slower, to start a new morning routine. Or if you don't have one, if you do have one, recharge what you're doing. If you're slacking off a little bit and so on and so forth, it's a great time of year to do that. And we talk about the importance of starting every day out properly with a positive morning routine, both as far as for your mind goes. I'm talking about reading and that kind of thing. And then also physical. It's a great time of day to just get up, do a little bit of exercise or take a walk and that kind of thing. And if you're not doing that, it's time to start that. And if you are, it's not a bad idea to just ramp that up a little bit. But it's so important to start every day right. And if you have other routines that you're going through and you have less hustle bustle during the day, as far as the way that you maybe answer phone calls or avoid distractions and so on and so forth, it's a good time of year to kind of log what you're doing, see where you're spending time, and to recharge that too. And obviously, your planner, where you record everything you do during the day, is a really, really good tool to kind of keep track of that. But if you can start monitoring that yourself and seeing where you are wasting a little bit of time and losing a little bit of productivity, summer's a great time to take a look at that and do something about it.
Absolutely. And you were talking about morning routines. And one of the things we've talked about with morning routines physically, it's great to do a little stretching, maybe a quick workout. Doesn't have to be much, but something that's very important first thing in the morning that a lot of people don't do is hydrate. You've basically just spent 7 to 8 hours with no food and water going into you. Your body needs to hydrate. And for some of us, that means not just water. Water is great, but if you're one of those people that gets very dehydrated, you want to think about grabbing a sports drink like a Gatorade or a Powerade, whatever works for you. My big problem with the sports drinks is they tend to fall into one of two categories. Category one is they have a lot of sugar. And category two doesn't have a lot of sugar, but it also tastes terrible. So if you're not a big fan of the sports drinks, the best thing to do is take a big jug of water and put lemon in it overnight. Let fresh lemon, not the reconstituted lemon juice. It has to be fresh lemon. Lemons actually have most of the same electrolytes that the sports drinks do. And in fact, that's where the tradition in hotter climates of lemonade came from, because it was a way to rehydrate. So you can do that with lemon. You can also do it with other citrus fruits. It's a little less effective than the lemon, but if you want to vary up the tastes, it's a great way to get yourself rehydrated and stay healthy.
Yeah, absolutely. And the first sports drink that came out was lemon flavored Gatorade, which I'm
Yep.
sure is horrible for you, but I used to love that, and it's so refreshing. But in his book, The Miracle Morning, the first thing he says to do when you get up in the morning is go downstairs and have an 8 ounce glass of water before you do anything else, just to get that going. Or as Eric said, if you want to do it with a glass of water with lemon in that, or if you're into the sports drinks and that kind of thing, it's great to get that into you first thing in the morning because it gets everything else going. And then what I like to do is just do a quick exercise after that just to get the blood flowing too. And all of a sudden, I'm a lot more alert than I was when I just got out of bed and let whatever happen happen.
Absolutely. Getting the blood pumping first thing in the morning gets your brain moving, gets your body moving. It's a great way to start the day. And of course, once you've gotten it started, there's all sorts of other things you can do. I've been talking a lot about what you need to do to keep your body, going during the summer, but it's also a great time to invigorate your mind with self-improvement, especially if you're going on vacation, sitting at the beach, sitting outside. It's a great opportunity to read books, to listen to books on audio. We've talked about that a lot, but find things that are going to stimulate your brain. A lot of folks, when they think about the beachside read, they're actually looking at something to numb the brain, something they don't have to think about. And that's great periodically, but you also want to include books that are going to stimulate your brain. You want to keep your brain going. There have been tons of studies that the more you read or listen to books and the more you learn, the more active you keep your brain, the less likely you are later in life to suffer from things like dementia. So it's very important, even as a young person, to keep your brain active.
Yeah, and obviously, if you want to do something on the professional side of things, it's a good time of year to just schedule and take a class in anything or attend a professional conference. Take a look at things there. There's lots of educational opportunities out there, and you can do that by traveling to some place you love to travel to. Or obviously, you can probably zoom into anything you want to do, but it's a good idea to just go online and research what's out there based upon what you're interested in. And if you have not come up with really a personal strategic plan, it's a great time of the year to do that, starting with what are you interested in? What do you do good? And this can really help direct you towards the materials that you can read on the beach and take a class on and start learning. It's a great time of the year to kind of recharge yourself professionally, or even if you have that side hustle that you were thinking about, or you want to get something going on the side, it's a great time to either restart something you were looking to do before or to look for things to do there too. So it's a great time of year. If you have the extra time, use it in a productive manner by researching things and then actually doing something about it, like a class or a seminar or whatever you want to do to really take the next step.
Absolutely. And I highly recommend a site called Stack Social. Stacksocial.com started out as a software site where you could get different apps and different programs at substantial discounts. Well, over the years, they have added a ton of on demand courses that you can watch on your computer, on your phone, on your tablet. And most of these run around $10 to $20 for the courses. And the subjects range from business courses, basic accounting, how to code. There's courses on photography. There's courses on using music software to edit together your own songs. There's tons, and it's always changing. So this is a place I recommend you go to take a look. And of course, those are professional on-demand courses, but there's also YouTube where you can find tutorials on just about anything to watch. And again, you can be sitting outside with your phone, pop your headphones in, and watch and listen.
Yeah, YouTube is really my favorite place to go on television. And I can't, you can do that on your television, on your computer, on your phone, as you're talking about. But what YouTube is, it's really like the Google for videos. And you can search by topic, you can save things in favorites, and so on and so forth. As a lot of you know who listen often, I was out in California for 2 weeks about a month ago, and we were going to different places, and I watched videos about the different places we were going, Yosemite National Park and San Francisco, and all these things as far as how to do things. And it just gives you a whole lot of information. And that's also, we talked about taking a look at topics of things that you're interested in. You can look those things up too. So if you want to spend some time in front of a computer or on your phone or on a television, if you're looking at YouTube at productive things on there, things that might help you out and stimulate you, that's a really, really great place to go.
Absolutely. And another way to keep your mind active and stimulated, people tend to think about vacations as a long, drawn out process where you're just relaxing. Now, that relaxation is key, but it doesn't have to be long. You can take a vacation every weekend. You don't have to take a whole week or 2 weeks. It's great if you can, but look at the things that are around where you live. A couple of years ago, they started calling these staycations, but you can take a day or an overnight stay and go to different things that you never go to. You know, it's a running joke. I grew up in New York City. And when you live in New York City, there's certain places that you never think to go. The top of the Empire State Building, some of the museums, that's the stuff that the tourists do. Well, become a tourist in your own area over the weekend. It's a great way to explore new things, try a new restaurant, go somewhere you've never been before. You would be amazed at, if you just get into your car and drive half an hour, how many things you can find that you didn't know were right around your area.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, one of the things that you can do if you live in an area where there's a little city or a town around you that you've heard of all the time, one of the best things you can do is just go into Google and type in that town. Invariably, you're going to see the 10 best things to do here, the 10 best things to do there. Again, this works on YouTube also, but the research is right there. And one of the things that it will do is it will help you, especially in a staycation. Say you're staying at home, just plan a couple of trips right from your home and so on. And it'll also make you appreciate where you live a whole lot more. If you have a house that's in a wooded area and so on and so forth, spend more time looking outside and just sit silently and enjoy what's all around you. That's something that I've come to learn to do over the years. And I've been living here for 36 something years. And it's only the last several that I really, really just enjoy sitting out and enjoying my backyard, except when the bears try to attack me. But it's just wonderful to appreciate your surroundings, and obviously getting into a little bit of a meditative state where you try and quiet your mind and just sit out there and appreciate things. Either sit or take a walk without saying anything, just walk silently around. It's just a great way to calm your mind down, especially during the summer.
Absolutely. And, and especially now when we've been dealing with runaway inflation, a lot of folks are going, well, I can't really afford to take a vacation or to do all these things. There are amazing low cost alternatives that you can do for just a day. Um, for example, if you're a baseball fan, yeah, it can get very expensive to take a family of four to a major league ball game. But there are minor league parks all over the country that you can enjoy a day out at for about $30. For the price of what one ticket could be at a major league ballpark, you can take four people to a minor league ballpark. So investigate what's around. Don't go in with preconceived notions about, oh, I can't afford it. Even more extensive vacations, there are different sites that last minute hotel stays, last minute flights can be found very inexpensively because they're trying to get rid of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, speaking of, minor league ballparks and so on and so forth, even if you're not a sports fan, if you're young parents and you have kids, there is nothing like taking a couple of kids to a ball game and having them enjoy everything other than the ball game and you enjoying watching them doing that. So whether you're into it or not, that's a great place to go. Um, Another thing that you can do during the summer, obviously you can look at community calendars and so on and so forth to see all the different events that are going on. A lot of times there's like afternoon concerts or this or that that's going on. But also, if you want to get involved and you're saying to yourself, how can I help out? You know, for the better of mankind a little bit and so on and so forth. It's a great opportunity for you to look for volunteer opportunities out there. There could be events going on where you could help with, or you could go volunteer for a couple of days at some place like Food Share and help sort food.
Yep.
There are all kinds of opportunities out there too, where if you look for that, uh, obviously it will keep you busy, but the self satisfaction in your heart that you're going to get from giving back rather than just sitting there feeling sorry for things when you hear and read about them. It's a great opportunity for you to get involved doing something like that. And maybe that'll catch on and become part of your life too.
Absolutely. And, nonprofits, especially during the summer, when their staffs are going on vacation, they're always looking for volunteers to help fill the gap. So they're there all year long if you want to volunteer, but during the summer, a lot of them have some real needs for your help. And it's a great way to get involved in your community. And again, it's something that you're not usually doing. So you're stimulating your brain. So you're helping yourself out as well as helping out the organization and your community.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, if you're doing this with other people that you know, get some other people involved instead of just doing it yourself. Grab your family or grab some friends. If you're networking and so on and so forth, grab your networking group and say, hey, look, there's an event going on here. Why don't we get a team together and go out and do this 5K walk to raise money for something? They're all over the place. And again, if you look online or especially in community calendars, you can definitely find a way to give back. And it's so hard, it's so wonderful for your mind when you're doing that too.
Exactly. You're improving yourself, your community, you're giving back. It's a great win win for everybody. Now, we've talked about, how important improving your mind is and keeping active while you're relaxing. But there are dozens, if not hundreds at this point, of apps that you can subscribe to help you calm down and to help move your mind. Two of my favorite are called Calm and Aura, and they're fantastic apps. They help you meditate, they help you relax, and that's something that during the summer most people are focused on, is clearing their mind and getting some heavy duty relaxation is to recharge and reset. So there are apps that can help you. There's also a number of meditation guided meditations on Audible. If you're an Audible member, a lot of these are free. There's meditation programs on YouTube that you can listen to. And in fact, a lot of people don't know this, but one of the things that I use on a regular basis to help relax are meditative sounds on YouTube. There's crystal bowls that do tones to help you relax. And actually, my favorite is there's meditative thunderstorms. And you just close your eyes, listen, and relax. And that's important. Again, as much as we talk about keeping your mind active, if you're too focused on the activity, you will eventually burn out. So you need to relax as well. So that's something else for you to do. So, Chip, we are coming up on the end, but we mentioned books and audiobooks. So why don't you toss out what are some of your favorite books, either to relax or for self-improvement?
Audiobooks. Obviously, the Miracle Morning is a great way to get your day started. And there's a lot of other ones out there. I'll have to think about it because there's so many that are there. But I like Wayne Dyer is a great
Yep.
author, and you have Center for Action and Contemplation, which is Richard Rohr's based out of New Mexico. There's a lot of different Audible things that you can do there, and basically just go online and research. If you go into Audible and you just type in a topic, they're going to be there for you.
Yes, they will. Yeah, for self-improvement, there's a couple of books that I listen to again and again, at least once a year. The 12-week year is a big favorite of mine. The 10X rule I like, as well as Getting Things Done, and the other books by David Allen and his series about organization. But there's also some great ways to relax, especially on Audible, and that's novels. If you're into mysteries, I highly recommend the work of Michael Connolly. He's got a couple of series that all actually intertwine. So he's got the Harry Bosch series of mysteries, he's got the Lincoln Lawyer series, and they intertwine, as well as a couple of other characters that he did book series of. So there's literally dozens of books by him. If you're interested in fantasy, I recommend the Dresden Files, which is the adventures of the wizard Harry Dresden. It's almost a grown up Harry Potter that's actually written a lot better than J.K. Rowling writes. So that's something you can look into. And also, Audible has been doing Audible originals where there are full cast productions of novels and also of famous comic books. They've teamed up with DC to do The Sandman, which is very much for adults, but it is a fantasy series. Again, full cast recordings. So it's like the old time radio shows. And they've done these for books like The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. They've done tons of classics, including some Shakespeare. So, whatever your taste is, you can find these full cast recordings and listen to an entire show the way they used to do it on radio.
Yeah, Audible is amazing. When you're driving around in your car, that's what I do. I listen to Audible all the time. Uh, Two of my favorite books are by the same author, The Four Agreements and then The Fifth Agreement. And this is all about personal development and taking a deep breath and experiencing what really is, as opposed to all the crazy things that you learn growing up from the outside world. I highly recommend those two books. Also, and then another great book is The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. So pick out subject of interest. You just mentioned a couple authors that I haven't read in 20 years, but the books are great, like Michael Connolly and those things. They're all there. So a lot of
Yeah,
good there.
and of course, in terms of self improvement, we've talked a lot about other authors. Bob Berg, who does the Go Giver series, David Allen, who does the Getting Things Done series. There are tons of folks out there that you can listen to, that you can read, improve your mind, improve your body. Another great book, The Spartan Way, is about mind and body. And there's fantastic things. This is a great time of year to take yourself to the next level. So we are just about out of time. So, Chip, what do you think is the big takeaway for this week?
It is summertime, so take a time out, take a deep breath, and just pick a couple of things to do, whether it be personally, professionally, taking a vacation, taking a class or whatever. Start writing a few things down, research doing things, and put together a schedule of different things that you can do this summer and tick them off one by one. And you will find yourself being renewed during the summer and hopefully with some really, really good habits moving forward.
Exactly. The summertime is a great time to recharge and rejuvenate. learn something new, enjoy the scenery, and check out what's in your local area that you haven't seen before. Every time you learn something, every time you see something new, you're building up your brain. Go for a walk, check out the scenery. You've been listening to the Success Showcase. You can catch every episode at xvadio.com/podcasts, the Apple Podcasts app, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Amazon Music, Audible, and wherever you find podcasts. Remember, make this your best week ever and make next week even better. We'll see you then.